Good morning, it's Jen Ferris.
Jen, you beautiful soul, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Are you still basking in all the sparkles and glitter of being in front of all those beautiful people Saturday night?
Oh gosh, well, I'd rather forget about it.
Oh my gosh, no, that was a monumental moment. You did so well. You
Oh,
articulated beautifully.
thank you. Well,
I'm sure it was very nerve-wracking.
it was. I was very, very nervous. I didn't say the things that I wanted to say, and it didn't come out the way I wanted it to come out, but it's done, and I just have to, I guess, accept it is what is. and
Well,
what
I
will
don't
be
think
out of it.
I don't think anybody in the audience knew that. I think it felt like you were totally in flow.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So I have a lesson learned actually because, I was en route when my accountability group typically meets, and I rescheduled. And yesterday it was only just Stanley and I who were on our accountability call, and it was my error because I pushed Stanley right into a module that he wasn't prepared for. And I didn't
Right.
do enough of the rapport building prior. Like I didn't ask those 4 questions, like where are you, where have you been, that kind of thing. And I should have done that because I pushed him into creating his unique heroic identity without having assessed where he was. And so I learned a valuable lesson last night. And
Right.
yeah, it was good for me.
Well, I mean, that could have provided a very unique opportunity to use other parts of the formula to maybe get him to start discovering that. Everybody could tell you, you could be face to face with someone and be physically present with somebody and tell them all kinds of beautiful things, but then, when it comes time to say beautiful things about yourself, we go into this very awkward space.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's a society thing where we feel shame talking about our unique identity, the things, a lot of people misinterpret it thinking that they're boasting or, that they're showboating. And I'm included in that. Sean called me out on my heroic unique identity, and I struggled a lot with it. And he did it on a call.
Oh boy.
So, I mean, encouraging people, like, tell me the most beautiful memory that you have, or tell me the moment when you felt most proud in your whole life, or the top 3 moments. And that's kind of where you start with the unique heroic identity.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what I tried to have Stanley do with me to create his, but he wasn't at that point in the module. And so it wasn't like he was still at the pain to yes. And I need to work on that one too. I need to revisit that one also in order to be providing good support.
And it's really fun to start seeing how all of them start tying together in one pretty little, sometimes messy package.
Exactly. I thought it was really great because I was starting to see things gelling and like, oh, that's where that fits in. Oh, and then of course, like as I was saying, I didn't do the emotional rapport building before we jumped right in. I just assumed he was there, and that's not good.
Right.
So yeah, so I really did find that it was seamless. Like it's not, everything just kind of flows together, and I thought that was so cool that it was finally coming together for me in that respect.
Well, and then same thing, like I had my accountability group last night, and both women were very much in their head about wanting to practice the formula perfect, and they wanted to prepare to practice the formula. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. The formula becomes who you are.
Yes.
So stop. My best advice to them was to stop being in their head and start stepping outside of their mind and observing what's going on, like a third party.
Yes,
and that's
exactly.
usually, I learned that when I was taught how to meditate properly, is you step outside of your head and you observe your thoughts. And that for me was, it's Kelly Hanna.
Oh, hey, Kelly. I knew that was Jen Ferris, and I couldn't recognize the other voice. That's why I was asking.
And who is
Yeah,
this?
It's Erica Rose Siegel, also known as Great.
Oh, hi, Erica. Our dancing queen from Saturday night.
Oh my gosh.
Good morning, everybody.
Be on something. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Rose Santiago.
I love you. I love to dance.
Hi.
Well, you were up on the big screen, I don't know how many times.
I didn't notice. Apparently everybody else noticed I was dancing.
Yep. No, it was all good. But we were talking about anybody having any challenges or triumphs with the accountability group.
Well, for me, I don't have one per se. I had someone add me to there, so I'm meeting on Saturday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is like a little tough, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I should say I have one. I've created a new one, right? Like the people that were my partners just aren't available, I guess, to create or. And so I'm so thankful because it's made a huge difference for me. And I'm actually looking to create role play calls like in the morning to practice the formula. So I know that it's something I was in beforehand, so I'll probably post that in the not the Facebook, but in the website, I guess.
Oh, right. No. Well, I think my best advice last night to the two women that I spoke with was to pick two things to work on every day. So I would say pick an energy and pick one of the 10 indispensable elements, and just all day long, just be aware of using them and start building that muscle. I mean, you don't build perfect arms by just doing one exercise, by spending 2 seconds looking at a video. You have to actually go out. I mean, in everything I do, I'm getting ready to walk into a meeting and I'll practice that. That's how I learned really, is I would take 2 things and just practice it every day. I also have flashcards all over my house.
I love it. I really love it.
Hello.
Hey, Fernando. How are you?
Good morning, Fernando.
Whoa,
all these voices, so much energy. So who was just speaking just now?
It's Kelly.
Hey, what's up, Kelly? How are you?
I am outstanding, even though I'm in lots of really fun traffic.
Oh my goodness. Oh no, traffic. That is not the place to be. But you wanna finish up 10 seconds what you were chatting about?
Well, we were talking about any challenges or triumphs within the accountability group, but also my accountability group last night was feeling a little overwhelmed. And so my suggestion was to take 2 of the indispensable elements, or 1 element and 1 energy, and just practice that all day long, wherever you go, whatever you're doing, and kind of break that down. And then, when you feel you've got a good handle on that, then you add 1.
Awesome. Yeah, I believe that's a beautiful piece of advice. I was actually chatting with Nita about something similar yesterday. So right on. Thank you for kind of leading the charge on that and helping everyone stay accountable. So let's jump in. Great rising, everyone. And welcome to our Unblinded Sales Mastery Morning Huddle, where we talk every single day from 8:30 to 9 o'clock about the fun and excitement about exponentially growing your sales. And today is Thankful Thursday. Let's check in. It is 8:30. Sean, are you here with us? So I'd like to bring it into the community. I believe we have some new members. We have Rocky, who spoke with Adam yesterday and joined Mastery. So Rocky, if you're here with us, if you can please unmute, we'd like to give you the microphone for you to share what's present for you, why you said yes, and why you're excited. So Rocky, if you're here with us, please unmute. We'd like to hear your voice. So Rocky, you here with us?
Yeah, absolutely. I am here. I actually said yes. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, go ahead. So you said yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really said yes way before I said yes. It was just a matter of when I was going to when I was going to chat with you, I've heard about this actually through Cody. Cody's in here all the time. But I see so much that's misaligned with me, like with how things are being done,
Awesome.
especially.
Rocky, did you get cut off or did you stop? I'm not quite sure.
My internet connection may be unstable. Let me try this without audio.
Awesome. There we go.
There, is that better?
Much better, Rocky. Continue.
Yeah, my air conditioning just kicked on too, so that's going to be a little bit more interference as well.
Okay.
In Florida. So yeah, I said yes before I actually said yes. I was in as soon as I heard about it. I knew that it was aligned for me. I see so much that other people in the industry. I'm a coach, so I see a lot of things that are just out of alignment for me in terms of sales process and marketing. So I just want to be as aligned and as me as possible. And I know that I've got some stories around money and what people do to get it and stuff like that. And I know this will help me with that. So, and I know that being around super aligned people that are doing things for the right reasons, the right way, is going to be really, really healthy for me. So there I am.
That's awesome. Rocky, thank you for your faith. Thank you for your yes. Transformation has begun. And I can hear in your language your desire for growth, your vulnerability, your self-awareness, and thoughts around money are going to be a massive conversation as we step into self-mastery. And it was actually part of Sean's original program back in 2007, where he has a cover photo looking like Dawson's Creek. He has an entire step dedicated just to the feelings around money. So that sounds like Sean's voice. Sean, are you here with us?
Yes, I'm calling from Dawson's Creek, Fernando. That's what's happening. And that was right after I had visited Melrose Place. So that's where we are.
That's another thing too, Sean. One thing that was really resonant for me is I actually had two people from the group tell me that you're hesitant to do a seminar because you thought that people would think that you were like Tony Robbins. And honestly, that was the only people would think that you were impersonating Tony was like a fear of yours. And I honestly have the same fear of being in this group based on what people have described. Is, you know, I've been to a couple of seminars recently where, well, I guess it wasn't that recently. It was last December, so it was a little over a year ago. But there were 4 things that I was planning on teaching in my seminar that were being taught in there. So it's like, you know, things that I thought that I invented are coming up. I have encountered that a couple of times in books and then also here. So it's like I get to figure out how to be, you know, different and maybe even more authentic in some ways. And that's a little bit of a fear of mine, is, you know, people think that I'm impersonating you, maybe just based on everything that I've heard about this group and what I've heard about you. So that's
listen, the bottom line, thank you so much for that authenticity. So yeah, I have about 5 things to say. For the sake of time, I could probably say 2. So first, thank you so much for that beautiful share. And part of the idea here is that we build a community, and maybe we begin to shift the idea from, okay, what is my unique content, to like, hey, there's a formula. And the differentiating question becomes, and the individualizing question becomes, how effectively do I connect with the groups? How do I entertain? How do I have fun with uniquely, and yet deliver the formula and acceleration? Like, that's not what it has to be, but that's a possibility. So that, as I thought about things for a long time, I did think, like, what would it be if we're creating like the content, because a lot of people don't fulsomely want to create all their own content. And the idea here was to try to create the most expansive content to give people what they want in the space of money, time, and magic. So that was the idea. So all good. And second, yes, I think this goes all the way back to the beginning. I had only been to, I guess, I'd been to this one-day seminar of Tony's, and I had been to a UPW, and this is going back all the way in time. And I was reading so many people's work. And I did the module yesterday talking about Jerry Spence, and as an attorney, writing How to Argue Win Every Time, how to make a fortune from public speaking, how to win friends and influence people, and the absence of formula. So all of that was occurring. But I had this, I think from listening to a few speakers speak, I had this thing in my head, like, I want to develop like my own original stuff, and that's when I came up with the idea of the formulas. It's going all the way back into like 2001, 2-ish, and in that space, you heard other people complaining about like copying and things, but then even the people that I love and appreciate so much, they were synthesized from some things that I also studied, things like NLP, things like the work of Napoleon Hill, and this is not mentioned often, Norman Vincent Peale. One of the things that is the most meaningful and heartwarming for me in the world is my grandmother, my mom's mom, who I talk about frequently. My dad's mom was Grandma Rose. My mom's mom was Nani. And Nani passed away 2 years ago. And I was incredibly close with both my grandparents and my grandfather, Nani's husband. This is my mom's dad. He passed away 20 years ago. Still, when my grandmother passed away, she was 92 years old. She had lived on her own till about the time she was 90 on Long Beach Island, New Jersey, and still, and some people on the phone line have been there, still on her nightstand next to her bed at 90 years old was a copy of Norman Vincent Peale's book, one of Norman Vincent Peale's books. She had books of Napoleon Hill sitting in her bookcase, but on the bedstand. So to this day, on her nightstand on Long Beach Island, and she's been gone for 2 years now, is still a copy of Norman Vincent Peale's work. And he was out in a little bit in a similar time frame to Napoleon Hill in the 50s. They were already reading his stuff, and so the idea of accessing and accelerating to more, both from a family level, my grandparents, and one more access point, my grandfather was going blind, and was blind, not going blind, was blind already legally. And by the way, we say legally blind, there's a standard that Social Security disability recognizes for blindness. So that's to do with percentages of vision loss in your peripheral and your central. So there is like a legalized, legitimate standard. And he was clearly blind. I mean, his vision was probably at my age worse than mine. When we were the same age, his was even worse. But he, in that time frame, part of the reason they found their way to the work of Norman Vincent Peale and Napoleon Hill was because of the stress and the strain and the pressure. My grandparents didn't go to college. My grandfather didn't even go to high school. And there were no laws protecting people that were blind, and these were incredibly painful, difficult, and challenging times. However, my grandfather had such a tremendous love in his heart, power and strength, and overall positivity. From the earliest I can ever remember, 3 years old, I can remember my grandfather telling me that I could do anything. And we had no right to believe that. He was blind. I think my grandparents combined never made more than $20,000 combined in their life. And just that constant messaging was being poured into me. And that was the legacy of the work of Norman Vincent Peale and Napoleon Hill, as well as his holistic opening. They were going chiropractors in the 50s when not nobody, but virtually nobody did. It was so unaccepted. They were taking vitamins. My grandfather was experimenting with vitamin A at massive levels on himself, to the point, very sadly, that he had a stroke when he was 50 years old, because he was taking such massive dosages of vitamin A because he had heard that it would help with your vision. So, my family, my world has been involved, and I'm leading to a funny punchline. My family has been so involved in the world of public speaking, motivational material, personal development, also sports. And then, so when I first began reading the work of Tony Robbins, and had read Awaken the Giant Within, and I told my grandmother about it. And she started laughing. I'm like, this is unbelievable. This is incredible. Going on for Nani. I said, you have to read this. She goes, he's just copying Norman Vincent Peale and Napoleon Hill. So it was so funny, because whomever somebody likes, and if they step into the space of human acceleration, there's this like reflexive reaction to say that somebody is like copying somebody else. So, and to her passing when she was 92, we would joke about those dynamics, and I would tease her and say that, Tony Robbins was better than Norman Vincent Peale and Napoleon Hill, and she would say that's ridiculous, and we had a lot of fun with it. So thank you for that awesome comment. It is natural and normal to have those feelings. I'm grateful for the share and the access, and we're all here to create acceleration for people and to find our unique creative way to do it. But what I would hold and stand for is that the formula creates the most comprehensive dynamic for doing that acceleration of our sales meetings and growth from all yes people. Fernando, quick check-in. What is present for you, brother, with what we just shared, plus whatever happened last night? Like, what's present for you right now?
What's present for me is, that distinction we had about the power of the content being added to others' heroic, unique identity, and the distinguishing factor being how that person shows up and teaches the content. It's beginning. I guess like when you said it, it didn't like click, because I guess I had always seen it, but it's taken me some days to kind of digest it. And it's like exactly, I think it's what you wanted to do the whole time. And even though it's becoming present now, I believe it's always what you wanted to do. One of the things I admired about you is how you define success, not being Sean in front of 100,000 people. Instead, Sean being all the way in the back, looking at 100,000 people, talking to crowds of 1,000. And the way to achieve that is for other, coaches, consultants, speakers, amazing human beings to take this content, make it their own, add their heroic, unique identity, innovate in certain ways. And I feel like this is a new point of acceleration. It's like a whole new base camp. It's a whole new fanatical focus. And it's landing more and more as like, I'm an example of that, and Adam shared so beautifully and vulnerably yesterday. He's an example of that. And, Jared is stepping into that as well. And it's what's causing this acceleration. So that's what's present for me. Yesterday was magical. I was so impressed with what Jay was able to do. I noticed a few things that you did differently that I'm still kind of taking notes on and want to chat with you about. And every time you look at what's happening here, I always, remind the community, don't only look at this as a storytell, view it through the prism of self-influence and process mastery. And there's always a distinction to be made. I am a lunatic of a student, and every single day I learn something. I could be an optimist, or I could be the type of person that is looking for distinctions at a masterful level. Either which way, this is always an opportunity to view everything that's happening through the prism of the formula, and that gives you access. So that is what I am present to.
Yeah, thank you for that. And that is Thankful Thursday. I am thankful for that viewpoint on access to distinctions, for rising up the scale of mastery. And for those that were there last night, you saw some of it. For those that weren't, I took the stage in a beautiful room. Jay Levine, incredible job. And it was a beautiful ecosystem merger. And the room was, different. It wasn't a hotel room. It wasn't an auditorium. It was a restaurant room. And there were servers, and the room was, a long rectangular type shape. And it was tight. And so there were some things that were different about it. And coming in, I just was asking myself one question, which is, in the limited time, I know it's going to have a very short time frame, maybe 30 to 45 minutes with the microphone, how do I demonstrate how to connect with the audience and demonstrate how powerfully unique this is as fast as humanly possible, and then give people the opportunity to step in and, move forward with us. So that was the only question I was asking myself. So rapidly, we jumped into exercises, and I just got into it as quick as I could to demonstrate how people could, because a lot of times when you talk to people about something conceptually, they're in a state of knowingness. When you demonstrate the formula and people can see that normal, successful, professional people struggle so mightily to go from hello to yes, and how fast we can optimize what they're doing at each stage. And we did it last night at the unique identity level. We did it at the rapport building level, super fast with wonderful people. And I think it really, truly landed. I know, Fernando, is that like, what's your reality on what our ability was to demonstrate with people the uniqueness of the formula? And why I'm sharing this is for you out there, when you're public speaking, when you're communicating with people, it is your job to create a unique identity, a disruption. And as Joseph McClendon called it, we've been saying disruption for a long time, to create that scotoma, that blank page that can be filled in with a vacuum. So that mission last night was like, there's knowingness, I got to disrupt it, create a blank page so people could see the truth and be unblinded. So Fernando, what's your reality on how that worked? And anybody else behind Fernando? So Fernando, go on. Anybody else? Yep. Fernando, real quick, 20-second access, then I'll jump to the female voice that just spoke. Fernando, what do you got?
All right, right on. 20 seconds. Number one, first, I'm so humbled by your ability to be a student. The excitement you have for the word scotoma, like, literally makes me giggle, because you're like a kid that was given like a new red toy, and it's incredible. And what a beautiful gift Joseph McClendon gave us. And it shows the humility that you have. We all see you as this master, and your ability to still be a student is proof of why mastery exists, and is an example for all of us that we are forever students. And regarding what you mentioned,
just pause real quick, because I have a word for something now. I didn't have that word before. I heard the word scotoma before. I didn't think of it in the context of its relationship to disruption. And disruption is so important. That's what is a lightning bolt. So like, this program is built in part on creating a scotoma, a disruption. So it's like, that is a central word now. So yes, I am so excited to have a true medical term, neuropsych term for exactly what we're doing. So thank you. Next. Yeah, keep
yes.
it, Fernando.
So final, and then we'll kick it off to the lovely, beautiful voice that we heard. It's actually what I believe Adam, Jared, and I are most focused on, is like, how do we take an hour, 30 minutes, and convey the formula in the most powerful way. Yesterday, it was very interesting to kind of observe you, be behind you, see reactions of everyone. And at the end, we had some people sign up for mastery. So it's one of measurements on how like we delivered. Ultimately, what I am very certain of is that it was very clear that everyone in the room felt like they were missing something, and like a void was created. Like, the seed was planted that like, there's something here. And I believe that was a success. And I am not confused that we can optimize and innovate on that, exceptionally in many different ways. And that's exactly what we're going to do, because that's what happens when there's so many people in the formula. So that is what I'm viewing and seeing.
Yeah, and for you out there, and then we'll jump to the female voice. For all of you out there, that's your job, right? If you're a chiropractor, if you are an attorney, an accountant, if you're selling copy machines, if you own a marketing agency, whatever it is, your mission job is to create that disruption. So a blank page is created and you could deliver your identity. And that is that it's not to get through the talk. It's not to be serviceable. It's not to be good. It's to create a disruption so you can step in with valuable information that they don't have about the area that you are the expert in, and they receive your identity. That's the mission. Yes. And who is jumping in with a comment? Whose voice was that?
So hi, it's Erica. Erica
hey,
from
Erica,
New York.
how are you?
I'm outstanding, and I got so much from just being in the room. Just actually the training that you gave me, and so I'm encouraging everyone when there's events to actually be one of the superheroes, which at the end, if you haven't gone to any of these events before, you're the person that answers the questions for the people who are curious about what this program could provide to them. And there was someone who came over to me as I was sharing with someone else and kind of interjected with this knowingness, which is how I didn't realize until he was doing it. He unblinded me to what it looks like to network versus ecosystem merger. And I, all of a sudden, in a playful, I guess you would call that like maybe the goddess fun energy, as he was what is it throwing at me? I think that's a benefit throwing at me. I said, hey, do you mind if I interrupt quick? And then it was such a variance of energies. He went from very aggressive and like, I know it all. I know Adam. I know this one. I know that one. I just wanted to offer something to you. I'm here to serve. This is what I do for a living, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my goodness, wow. And then I said, I started asking him questions, and he could actually see something for himself that he didn't see in the past. And he went from aggressive to hugging me, like right then and there. And then I went to the girl that I was sharing with and asked her, do you mind if I ask you how that landed for you? Like him coming over to speak. And then she said, I kind of felt like he interrupted us. And I don't want to say that it's not me. And it's just, I definitely see the difference of like, you say you care about me, but like, I kind of felt like you just were here for you. And it was not just me saying it. It was like her then saying his blind spot. And then me not wanting to rush through the 5, like, go ahead and let me close him versus a formation agreement. So I didn't have time in that moment to go through the final like formation agreement. However, I developed rapport. He saw a blind spot, so he saw the pain to yes. And it was great because she said to me, wow, I could see how that could help in my sales career, because she just saw me interrupt his, what is that? The scotoma? Is that the word? I never.
Yeah, I mean, you create a pattern interrupt and a scotoma. Yes.
Yeah. So I did that because he was all about this one energy. And at the end, he went from the Zeus energy to the goddess energy just because that's where I was. And that's what you told me. You said try, and I leaned in and I interrupted, and his friends came over and hugged me. So thank you for that. And asking the questions, Sean, and whoever else is listening, shorter questions versus longer questions so that the person could follow. Like, I wasn't telling, I was asking these questions very short so that each of them could then jump in and give a long answer and do the level 5 listening, so I could really lean in. Like, I felt my body. And that was thanks to Tia on the way over, who had me realize I do a lot of talking, sorry. And it's when I take a step back and I'm really engaged by less talking, more level 5 listening, it gives people the space to actually want to be with you. And they realize they're better with you than without you because you're allowing them to rise.
Yeah. Erica, thank you. Thank you for the share, number 1. Number 2, I acknowledge you, and everybody, let's acknowledge that for the use of the language and the formula extensively throughout your share. 3, for your stepping in and accelerating and self-awareness. And 4, yes, this works. And 1 access point for all of us. So I was like, yeah, I can see how this might be able to help me. A beautiful opportunity in that moment, you know, as that great share, you know, the person was sharing with you last night, Erica, would be like, or if it's like, hey, yeah, I see how your services, whatever they are, could help me. It's like, pause, help you? It's a great question mark. Like, yeah, help you? And they're like, yeah, like, help you? Like, and then say it again, are you kidding? This is like the greatest breakthrough ever, and like laugh, like some fun energy to emphasize that access. Like, yeah, help you? It's going to exponentially and dramatically change your sales career in ways you can't even imagine. And just like laugh and smile and like let it sit so it drives home. Or help you, my chiropractic here is going to help you, my legal services might help you. Like, this is the difference that makes the difference in everything you're going to do. So beautiful, fun drop in when there's that, like, yeah, maybe I get a peek that something is here, like, have some fun and jump on that point. So Erica, thank you. One more share from either about last night or anything else present for you for this morning.
Santiago. Rose
I'm sorry?
Santiago. It's Rose.
Hey, Rose, how are you?
Good. I just wanted to say how the formula worked for me yesterday in an explosive manner. I was talking to a singer yesterday who sings, and she loves to sing. And I started talking to her and asking her questions about it. And it was, where are you now? Where were you? What are you doing? What's your goals? What's working for you? What's not? What's challenging you? And it was explosive because she started to cry. I developed that emotional connection with her, and she started crying because she wanted to do better in her singing. And she says, my goals, I want to make records. I want to do this, but she knows that she's afraid. She's so afraid. Her fear is stopping her from moving forward. And I was able to talk to her and give her an idea, take action steps toward helping her with her fear, and also helping her she's supposed to have an interview with another person who's going to put her in a better position for her to sing, pay her more money. And she's excited now. I got her excited. I got her to feel that she's capable, that she's able to do something better and to get her singing career more advanced. Not only did that happen to me yesterday, but I also did a video with a nonprofit organization, Unbridled Heroes Project. They own horses, and their horses, they talk about the energy that they work with their horses. It's not about controlling them. It's about the energy between humans and horses, and how they came from a dark place. Their family came from a dark place with their kids. They're veterans, and they came from a dark place. And it was the horses.
Rose, I think we lost you. 3,
Hopefully
2. Okay, if we get Rose back. So listen, these shares are phenomenal. Love this breakthrough. The idea of creating that acceleration through the formula and connecting so deeply. And that, whoa, oh boy, got a little bit of noise in that background. Tiffany, let's mute everybody. Good. So the idea, of course, always is that people are going to feel such a reaction when they feel you saying to them through your listening, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me. So that's what's present. Jared, what's present for you as we take this home on this Thankful Thursday?
Present for me is I'm in a car with my beautiful family, headed to Scottsdale for a big meeting tomorrow to move our movement forward. Very excited about that. And I'm present to the fact that Sean and Fernando are going to be flying out on Saturday morning to speak to a group of about 100 of the most influential and powerful chiropractors and chiropractic companies in the profession. We're going to introduce them to integrity-based human influence, which is going to absolutely transform chiropractic forever, because I've been in the industry for a while. And integrity-based human influence is the exact pathway for a chiropractor to take a patient who so needs them from hello to yes, so that they can transform their lives and the lives of their children. So I'm present to the limitless opportunity that is just standing right before us, even the stuff that we don't see yet. I'm present to Jay Levine. I mean, absolutely showing up, man. I am so proud of you. I know how much heart you put into that, energy you put into that. Jay got a room literally filled and standing room only with a beautiful meal for everybody, a beautiful presentation. So I'm present to every single one of you because each of you are playing such big parts at this point. And the whole is stronger because of each individual piece. So I'm present to all this, Sean, excited. I'm sitting in the back seat of this truck with my two kids to the left and right of me, and I'm a happy man right now.
Brother, that is beautiful, amazing, and wonderful. Congratulations to you and to everyone. Couldn't be more excited about what's happening. Honoring, again, Jay and Catherine for an incredible job last night, as well as Roger Sahori for what's happening this weekend with this incredible chiropractic group. And final is think about this for yourself. Who and where could we put rooms together that you could utilize our ability to come in with our speaking energy influence and capabilities to launch and accelerate you the way we're doing work with Roger and Jay this week and many others coming up shortly. Hey, it is Thankful Thursday. Take massive action out there. Super grateful. Have an incredible day. Thank you.
Sean, before you go, I just want to say thank you. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to you guys. Seriously. Last night was incredible. Thankful Thursday. I couldn't be more thankful to you guys. And I just wanted to give you the heads up. We were approached last night, and I will call you later about it, to potentially do this in front of another real estate company in the future. So I think it worked. So
I also wanted to chime in real quick. Sorry. I wanted to thank you for doing that exercise, the group exercise, because at the immersion, that's where I realized, like, wow, I need a lot of work. I literally at the immersion had almost nothing to say and felt so slow and stupid. And after doing it last night, this was my second opportunity to do it, and I paired up with Michael Clark, and I feel like I nailed it. I got him from hello to yes. Obviously, this was an experiment, but I just felt the confidence. I felt inspired by everything that I've been learning from Unblinded, and it was just, I felt different yesterday, and I'm just very, very thankful for that opportunity. So,
Catherine, amazing job. Everybody, fantastic job. Thank you.